YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very, very special video here. As you can see in front of you, we have the banned and restricted announcement for December 16th. That is today. I'm recording this on Monday about, 3 minutes after 11. I haven't seen it yet. I have not been spoiled as to what exactly is happening. Well, we can kind of discuss maybe a little bit what we think should happen. The One Ring, get out of here. Absolutely has to go. Maybe something from Boros Energy. Aspiring Spike made a very good point where they kind of feel a little bit more pressured into answering a deck like Boros Energy if they're going to keep this sort of scheduled BNR every couple of months. But if you just remove the scheduling and basically put it to where you are allowed to ban something if it becomes a problem, then maybe we can let Boros Energy run free for a little bit. But all of that said, I'm very, very excited to dive into today's video. Before we continue, let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Pause the video here, post in the comments what you think is going to happen. In any case, here we go. I'm going to do the slow scroll. Standard. No changes. Not really surprising. I know I saw some people post in the community post that I made yesterday about like banning Shieldred or Monstrous Rage or up the Beanstalk and Standard. I think we can keep an eye on Rage and Beans, but for now, I'm perfectly fine with Standard. Everything is fine. It's the best format. So no changes, not surprising there. Let us move on. I know I'm going really slow here. This is in real time. Pioneer, no changes. Oh. Okay. Well, if they're going to ban Gigantha and Pioneer, this is a little bit shocking, but also at the same time, maybe not so shocking. I mean, look, we all know that companions were a giant mistake. They should have never been printed. Even the ones that are less impactful, like Umori and Lutri and Gyruda and all these kinds of things, just fundamentally as a mechanic, they're just free cards. And if you give people the ability to play extra free cards in their deck, they're going to take that ability. It just kind of fundamentally breaks the rules of the game. And the thing about Gigantha is, let's be honest, there's no deck building restriction when it comes to Gigantha. So I don't think Gigantha is, from a power level standpoint, like the single most powerful card in any format, but it is from a rules standpoint or a game fundamental standpoint, just having that extra free card for basically no downside. Not super unhappy to see it leave, but Pioneer, the fact that they're mentioning Pioneer means the Gigantha's probably going to be going in Modern. I think that's safe to assume at this point. But let us continue down the path here, Modern. Drum roll, please, editor. Look, are we all shocked? Wow, shocked Pikachu face. Look, I feel like if they didn't ban the One Ring on this announcement, then people would have been outside of WotC headquarters with picket fences and the whole 9 yards. So not unhappy to see it leave. It's been terrorizing the format ever since it was basically printed. The play patterns, being able to sort of like play ring, the first ring finds your second ring, that buys you time to find the third ring, and it's just Time Walk plus Ancestral Recall on a 4-mana card is surprisingly a little too much for Modern. So no surprises here. I think we all expected that. So now that we've seen Gigantha and Pioneer, I fully expect Gigantha to go in Modern. The question is, do they do anything else? Oh, look, it was on my wish list. I'm going to scroll down just to make sure you can see it. It was on my wish list. I didn't know if they'd be willing to pull the trigger, but Rip Bozo. This is where you, editor, if you get like the Pack Watch Rip Bozo, throw that meme up there. Amped Raptor is banned in Modern. Now, I did say that I think that something from Energy should be addressed if they are going to keep their sort of scheduled every 3-month ban announcement, because if you just ban the One Ring and you have to wait 3 more months and it turns out Energy is still good, then you have a bit of a big problem. So them axing Raptor here leads me to believe that they are committed to sticking to these scheduled ban announcements. I don't necessarily agree with that. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. This is a very sort of sensitive topic. I know that in terms of player confidence, if they say, okay, well, we can make ban announcements whenever we want on just completely on a whim. If we wake up on a Monday morning and say, we want to ban whatever, we want to ban Memnite, then they're going to wake up that morning and ban Memnite. And you have sort of no window to prepare or no warning period to like, if there's a problematic card from a ban list that's coming up in a month or so, you have time to sell those cards before they make that ban announcement. So I sort of understand it from a instilling player confidence sort of perspective, but just in terms of the playability and the health of the format, I think just being able to like make more aggressive announcements if a problem does come up, I feel like that ends up being better long term for the health of the format. Let me know in the comments though. I'm curious to see what you guys just thought. But yeah, Amped Raptor, as far as if you wanted to ban a card on energy, I think any one of them are fine. Guide of Souls, Amped Raptor, Ajani, Static Prison, and Flage are all like on the chopping block. The thing about Amped Raptor is it just creates this element of randomness and it just introduces variance into the game that I think is, maybe it's not the most individually powerful card of the core of the energy package, but it is the one that leads to the most feel bads. And I think that for that reason alone, removing it kind of makes a little bit of sense. And it's even more high variance because when you have those draws with Guide of Souls and Aether Hub, then you can cast 3 and 4 drops on turn 2, and that's kind of absurd. So all that said, I like this decision. And it's cool to keep Guide of Souls, well, assuming that Guide of Souls is kept here. If they decide to keep Guide of Souls, it makes sense to keep it with like all the Heliod decks and all that kind of stuff. So let's keep going. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny to me that I really didn't think they would ever be willing to pull the trigger on banning a vanilla 5/5, but here we are. Now, I will say, I think Gigantha is quite a bit more powerful in Modern than it is in Pioneer, simply because of Arena of Glory, right? Where before, you had to spend 3 mana to pick it up and 5 mana to cast it and wait a turn to attack with it. And like all of that, it was kind of fine. But to be honest with you, Arena of Glory just kind of put Gigantha over the top. And being able to have this looming threat of a hasty 5/5 when your deck is so good at trading resources, you're just like, run your opponent out of resources, they're empty-handed, you have a 5/5 and an Arena of Glory, well, now that 5/5 has haste and their clock is shortened by a full turn or two. So you're never going to see me shed a tear when a companion gets banned, even though it's a little strange to see a vanilla 5/5 get banned. Rest in peace, Gigantha. Like I said, not going to be shedding any tears over that. Is that it? Okay. Yeah. Yes! Oh my god! Oh, Editor, you may have to cut the... Oh, you may have to cut the... Oh, I can't even speak right now. Oh my god. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry if I blew your ears out. Oh my god. You do not know. All right. Mox Opal is unbanned. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack. The Affinity was the first Modern deck that I ever got into. And I don't even know what to say. When Mox Opal got banned, I was so sad. I stopped playing Modern for a couple of months, and it took me a little bit to get back into it because it was the only deck I played for about 3 years. This is maybe the happiest thing that I have ever seen. I can't even speak. I literally can't even speak right now. Affinity back on the menu. Urza Saga gets a lot better. All of the Thought Monitor, Thoughtcast, all those cards. Oh my goodness. I mean, it can't get any better than this, right? What else could they I mean, that one... Okay, Mox Opal is a card that, to be honest with you, probably got a lot better over time, especially with Urza Saga. Green Sun Zenith is a powerful card. It is obviously good with Dryad Arbor, and it's going to make these sort of green toolbox decks quite a bit better. The one, maybe some sort of this is definitely a boost to Yawgmoth, right? Yawgmoth getting a lot better, being able to fetch up their silver bullets. One thing I will note, you can't search the Basking Brood scale with this because that is colorless, it is devoid. But Green Sun Zenith, a lot of people are worried about Green Sun Zenith because it makes the Primeval Titan decks a little bit too good. I don't know if that's necessarily the case. It will certainly make them a little more consistent because they can find Titan and or Dryad, or they can even find Aftermath Analyst with this too. So Pretty big boost to Titan, pretty big boost to Yawgmoth, I think. Maybe some other sort of like green toolbox deck that can utilize Zenith. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any ideas on that. Dude, I still can't get over this Mox Opal unban. What is happening? I thought it was over. What the This is where you put the expletive. Oh my god. Faithless Looting and Mox Opal were unbanned? You cannot be serious. Oh my goodness. This is unbelievable. Faithless Looting. So it got banned for, I mean, it was in a lot of decks at that time, but like Dredge, Is It Phoenix, Hollow One back on the menu. People were already playing Hollow One before. This is certainly a huge boon to that deck. Oh my goodness, Faithless Looting. Yeah, again, huge boost to Dredge, Hollow One. Maybe Is It Phoenix back on the menu? Maybe some sort of Reanimator deck. We have turn 1 Looting, turn 2 Persist. Trying to think of other decks that can utilize Faithless Looting. I can't think of any off the top of my head besides the ones that I've mentioned. This is the Christmas ban list. This is unbelievable. What is this ban list? Oh my god. I mean, okay. I've been on record multiple times saying that I don't think Splinter Twin would necessarily compete with the overall like increase in power level, the power creep over the past couple of years. But yeah, Splinter Twin back in the menu. I'm sure that there are plenty of folks at home who are absolutely ecstatic to see this. And this has been the meme, right? This has been the absolute meme. We never thought that they would consider unbanning Splinter Twin. Here we are, 2024. It's back. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm excited because I was never really a Twin player myself, but if you're excited, I'm happy for you. And just like the meme, too, we never thought they would even consider unbanning it. This is, I don't even know what to say. Mox Opal, Green Sun Zenith, Faithless Looting, and Splinter Twin all unbanned. I'm left speechless at this point. I really don't even know what to say. We're going to be making some modern content. That's what I'm about to say. I'm going to be playing Affinity until the day that I die. Welcome back, Mox Opal. I missed you very, very greatly. And I'm glad that you have reunited with me and we can rekindle our relationship. Okay, there's going to be some legacy changes maybe, but I don't really know enough about legacy, so I'm going to just kind of go fast through these. Psychic Frog banned, Vexing Bauble banned, good, bad, so. I really don't follow the legacy format. I wish I could offer you more insight onto this. I've heard that Psychic Frog is a big problem. I know that there was the individual who won Eternal Weekend Legacy. I did see a tweet that their goal in winning the event was trying to get Bauble banned. Well, congratulations, you've done that. Let me know in the comments, though, if you guys play Legacy. Is this good or bad for the format? Are you more excited to play Legacy, less excited? Love to hear your thoughts. And kind of the same thing with Vintage. We're going to maybe breeze through this. No changes anyways. Alchemy, who cares? Explorer, yep, makes sense. Historic, Timeless, Brawl. Oh my goodness. Okay, this video is already at 14 minutes. We're just going to breeze through this very, very quickly. Okay, standard, no changes. We don't even need to go through this. Pioneer Gigantha ban. This makes sense if they're going to ban Gigantha in Modern. Pretty standard stuff. Format is a variety of micro archetypes, all the major decks as well. Yeah, see, this is the thing about Pioneer. The format is extremely wide open right now. The only unfortunate part about Pioneer is that there's not really a good... Like, you don't really have any sort of competitive outlet if you have competitive aspirations for Pioneer. There's some local events, like, I mean, Pioneer FNMs. There's a local store near me that does Pioneer 1Ks that I may start playing in. So there's still some reasons to play Pioneer, and the format's great. It's just, we don't really have a ton of reasons to play it. But if they're going to ban it in Modern, makes sense to ban it in Pioneer as well. I gotta take a sip of coffee. All right, let's get into the meat of it. Going into this announcement, it was clear that Modern needed the most help among our competitive formats. I'll, I guess, address the most glaring issue with the format Nadu. Things haven't gotten much better. Analyzed a handful of options to try and get the format into a spot. Yep, felt more was needed. Our players are the backbone of competitive Magic. Tournament results, analyze the metagame, dig into win rate numbers all day long. It's all of you who are playing these formats, and at the end of the day, it is our job to ensure that you're having as much fun as possible. Oh, trust me, Dan, I'm going to be having some fun. Let me tell you that. Isn't the same format it was years ago. There are several cards we banned years ago. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. Something like Green Sun Zenith and Splinter Twin may not have been acceptable in terms of the power level of 2015, 2016 Modern, but because the format has advanced so much in terms of power level, they're lowering mana curve, they're introducing more powerful cards like Ragavan, Orcish Bowmasters, Urza Saga, all of these things. It does make a lot of sense. So as the power level changes, you dust off those old relics and maybe they're going to shine again one day. It's no secret that the One Ring has been a large part of the modern metagame since its introduction 18 months ago. August announcement, we stated there wasn't a dominant ring deck. That changed. Yeah. Opportunity cost of including the One Ring in nearly any deck is too low, and its presence in events has become tiresome for many players. Self-preservation, source of card advantage, requires no commitment. All of these clear warning signs of a completely busted card. Modern would be a more enjoyable format without its inclusion. The One Ring is banned. Okay, yeah, we all kind of expected that. This is the interesting part. So removing the One Ring is certainly a hit to Boros Energy, Modern's most played and most consistently dominant deck. But it also impacts several other strategies. We like to ensure that we reduce the overall win and play percentages of Boros directly, that we don't want to eliminate it from the format. So that kind of makes sense. If you don't want to ban Guide of Souls, that means that you kind of want the energy deck to still be playable in some sort of capacity, but you just want to limit its power and its consistency. And I think Amped Raptor is probably the single best ban at doing that because Guide of Souls kills the deck. Flage is maybe a bigger hit than Raptor, but Flage is maybe a more like indirect casualty to a lot of other decks that want to play it. So I think this is maybe the perfect ban if you want to just sort of take Boros down just a little bit. Well, this makes sense. Raptor explosive starts acting as an energy enabler and a payoff. Completely agree with that. Amped Raptor is banned. I think that makes sense. I think that is the best ban, again, if you want to neuter energy, but make sure that it's still playable in some form and you're not hurting enough other decks. Guide of Souls, again, too big of a hit to stuff like Heliod. Flage, too big of a hit to stuff like Jeskai. So I think this is like the perfect medium. As far as banning Giganta, yeah, there's just no deck building cost. That's the problem with Giganta. And it also, another good point, reduces the pool of options you might consider when building decks because there's plenty of answers or plenty of good answers to Flage and the One Ring. I think a good example is Skyclave Apparition, but a lot of people shied away from Skyclave. It was popular for a little bit just because of how good Giganta plus Arena is. 40% of all modern decks with Giganta, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, here's the juicy part. The bans above should do a decent job of making Modern more fun and balanced, but could it even be better? Can we handle a wave of nostalgic and infamous cards to re-enter Modern? Was there something we released that's making Modern less fun? Only time will tell, so let's get into it. Let's go. For much of Modern's history, artifact decks have been a pillar of the format. The original Affinity, KCI, Lantern. A while since we've seen... Oh, right, Mox Opal maybe makes Lantern playable again. Shout out to the Lantern enjoyers. Mox Opal banned in 2020. Horizons, which included our good friend Urza. It's not like we ever stopped printing strong anti-artifact cards. Yeah, Meltdown, Wrath of the Skies in recent Horizon sets. Our expectations are that the reintroduction of Mox Opal will give rise to several interesting artifact strategies, both new and old, without adding any power to strong decks. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a good reasoning. I just want to play Affinity again. Shout out to Dan. I'm sure that I'll be cooking up some stuff on stream today with Opal, Zenith, and Looting. I'm at a loss for words still. I'm having a hard time formulating sentences with how excited I am. Zenith has been banned in Modern since 2011. Banned during a time where green decks were too strong. The card offered level of consistency and flexibility that was difficult to combat, often narrowing the range of cards you consider playing. In fact, the logic used to ban Giganta this time around applies to why Zenith was banned in the first place. But again, that was over a decade ago. And I think this is a good point that I brought up as soon as I saw it on the ban list. Brood scale combo decks can't use Zenith to find its namesake. Yawgmoth also can't use Zenith to find Yawgmoth. So you can find Grist, which is pretty cool. But I think that makes sense. Like a lot of these green creature toolbox decks are built around cards that you can't Zenith for. So it's not like you are increasing the consistency of how often they have their best card. So I think that makes a lot of sense. It gives them a little bit of flexibility and utility in terms of, like, okay, I can get a Skooz, I can get a Rexage, I can get a Grist, but those aren't cards that are going to win you the game by themselves a lot of the time. So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Safekeeper, Primeval Titan. Makes a lot of sense. I think Zenith is a really, really good unban. Faithless Looting. Arclight Phoenix, Hollow One. Yep, that all makes sense. That's a good point too. There's a lot more good graveyard hate than there was. Endurance, Bogger Trawler, plenty of that. So yeah, I mean, the thing that scares me a little bit about Faithless Looting is Persist specifically. But again, the graveyard hate's good. Endurance, people still play Surgical, Leyline of the Void, even on turn one, Soul Guide Lantern, Relic of Progenitus, Tormod Script. And you could make an entire like hour-long YouTube video about good graveyard hate in Modern. So yes, looting is extremely powerful. It's explosive, but I think there are enough backstops and tools available, especially if you're introducing all of these cards all at once. So I think that makes a lot of sense. The question for the ages, would Twin be strong in today's Modern? Was banned in 2016, so it's been 8 years since we've had Twin. But yeah, I mean, Modern is just different these days. There is a lot more explosive 1 and 2 mana plays, and Twin is maybe too slow for today's Modern. It's kind of weird to say that a turn 4 combo deck is too slow, but you know what I mean. And this is, yeah, good point too. We introduced free spells, Solitude, Force of Negation, Force of Vigor, Flare of Denial. Those are all reasonable answers to Splinter Twin. So I think that, again, enough backstops here. I cannot contain my excitement right now, just so I can make sure it's all here. Mox Opal, Green Sun Zenith, Faithless Looting, and Splinter Twin, welcome back. One Ring, Amped Raptor, Gigantha, Rip Bozo. Overall thoughts, I think this is... So here's the thing, right? Modern has been in a weird spot for the better part of 6 months now, ever since MH3 came out. We had Nadu Summer, we had Boros Winter, and I think that they have done a pretty good job. At least I was somebody who didn't want to play Modern for the past couple of months, and they hooked me back in. I want to play Modern every single day now that I see Mox Opal unbanned. And I think that this is kind of the perfect balance of reintroducing some older powerful cards that may have gotten power crept while also addressing the problems of the past couple of months. And I'm excited to play Modern again. And like I said, my excitement is immeasurable right now. Cannot wait to get into the lab. Today's stream is going to be lit. I'm probably going to start streaming early too because I'm so excited. Anyways, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments section down below about these bans, these unbans. What do you guys think? Are you excited to play Modern again? I know I am. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Adios.